yesterday, right, on the Sunday Times. A very interesting, because there are not many of these homegrown brands that are 100 years old. We're talking about Ang Leong Huat. Maybe for those who are not very familiar, give us a little brief background on what the brand is about.
Okay, so Ang Leong Huat started 100 years ago, and it's a distributor of Chinese wine. Chinese wine for cooking and Chinese wine for drinking.
Okay.
And they had the founder came from Xiamen in China. Got here in 1923, and he was in trading back in China, and he started making rice wine, and he was selling them by the glass to laborers or coolies, as they were known, right? And then of course it took off, right? And aside from having regular rice wine, he also infused the rice wine with Chinese medicinal herbs. So if you are working as a laborer, it's just the sort of thing you want to have to ease your aches and pains. And it took off. And then from there, he, started importing other things. And, the company branched out into baijiu and into China grape wines as well.
Wow.
So now they've got a very diverse portfolio, but focus on Chinese wine.
It's interesting because even from a Western perspective, the Chinese grape wine market has just boomed.
Yes. Back in the day, there were brands like Dynasty and Great Wall.
Yeah.
And this company carried them, usually for house pours, banquets, events, that sort of thing. But because the China grape wine industry is maturing, the wines are getting better and better and better, and with a lot of investments from overseas as well as within the country. So they they've been able to stay relevant because they kind of went on to they came onto movements before they took off. So when there were a lot of producers of baijiu, and they were wondering, not many people in Singapore know about baijiu. Maybe we should be a little bit cautious, right? But they brought in some, and then now it's paying off because you've got so many China brands,
right?
Selling food in Singapore, right? And what do you drink with it? Baijiu, right? And then they sort of knew that the grape wine thing would kind of take off, and then they got into the market before it really seriously took off. So very canny business decisions by the owners.
Yeah.
So this business has been in the family for 4 generations. Is that what inspired you to write about, them?
Well, okay, so I have a contact there, and one day she sent me a text message, and she says, "Oh, I'd like to invite you to our 100th anniversary dinner." And I'm like, 100? Your company is 100 years old?
Yeah.
And I'm like, forget the dinner. Let me do a story, please, right? I mean,
there's something there.
Right? There's something. I mean, how many Singapore companies are 100 years old?
True.
Right? And the weird thing is that ever since I started cooking and drinking, I've been unwittingly a customer, right? I mean,
all of us are,
right?
Yeah. Right?
I mean,
without even knowing it.
Exactly, right? Plum blossom hoa diao jiu. It's in my condiments cupboard, right? I mean, I use it for cooking, and I order wines from them for drinking. So, it's just kind of it was kismet, I guess.
I guess. It sounds like it.
Nice.
I guess.
We're going to go on Facebook and continue this conversation with Hsueh about Ang Leong Huat. So join us right there.
Mornings are now.
You said that they brought in brands before they were popular, and that's what's helped them. But in this interview, did they talk to you about the kind of challenges that heritage food brands typically face? I mean, the food industry is continuously changing, and it changes very fast. How did they handle that?
Well, see, the thing is that the products that they carry are kind of essential to cooking. So the hoa diao jiu, the rice wine, all the variations of those things, right? Every Chinese restaurant needs those things. And if you have high quality, high-end Chinese, even mid-price restaurants, Chinese restaurants, it's a constant supply. And this stuff, you use a ton of it.
Okay.
Right. And you know what I love about Ang Leong Huat's brands, right? They have resisted the pressure to sort of update, spiff up, or sort of like make their labels modern. They still use the same labels that the second generation owner designed.
Yeah,
Wow.
the Plum Blossom Hoa Tiao Jiu, right, is a classic.
Yep.
I have some at home.
Of course.
Essential for cooking. And you don't even realize it. You just go to the supermarket and you recognize the label
Yep.
immediately.
Yes.
And you just reach out for it
Yes.
because that's what your mom used or your
Yes.
grandma used,
Exactly, right?
So that's
Yeah.
why I think that's very smart move on their part to not change.
Yes. And if you like, okay, so I like their boxer rice wine. I rub it on fish before I steam it. And you know how like when you steam fish Cantonese style, you throw away the steaming water, then you add the sauces and stuff.
Right.
The rice wine is really good, sort of to if there are weird smells or odors or whatever, it gets rid of them. But I just do it because of like force of habit, right? And that bottle still comes with this hot pink label with a coolie on it, striking a pose.
It is
I mean,
super retro and old school.
And you know, there's a part of me that really loves it because it is retro. You know, I mean, aside from the fact that the product is excellent, right? You know, and they still have their double dog Mei Gui Lu Jiu, which is rice wine, rose wine,
Double
Okay, so
dog.
how-
double dog. Yes,
Yeah. So they came up with the name because back in those days, everything was like
double
something, right?
Yes.
It's supposed to be good luck.
Yes.
Right?
So this is like the 50s. So the third generation owner was telling me that at the time, things like double lion, double kangaroo,
Double
were very-
dragon, everything lah. Yeah.
right, were popular. So his dad came out with double dog. Yeah. And if you look at the bottle, right, at the neck there is a label that says Bun Kui Lo. That's Hokkien for rose wine.
Oh, I didn't know
wow.
that.
And they kept it. You know?
So I've never used the Mei Gui Lu Jiu. How do you use it in
Okay.
cooking?
Yes, in cooking.
Okay,
so
okay.
it is essential in my book,
Okay.
essential for char siu marinade.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
I've done
Yes.
char siu before, but I've never used
Oh
the.
no, game changer.
really?
Use it.
Okay.
And then of course if you're a bartending kind, you know, cocktails.
Ooh, nice.
I'm learning all kinds of things
So
about.
Right.
Mei Gui for FD is rose.
Yeah,
So it's like the
okay.
essence of rose.
So
right?
it's the rice wine is infused with rose petals.
oh,
it's a
see.
special species of rose, but no one can tell me what species it is. Yeah.
You know, I'm
Secret.
I'm listening to this conversation go along, and nothing has changed since generation 2.
yeah.
Is that what their success is? That they have not changed?
No, they have changed. So the labels might not have changed, right? You know, but they went into baijiu, you know, just as it was taking off, and now they've got a stable of like 15 or so brands that they carry, right? And then of course they kind of caught that wave, which is now back in the day when they started, there was no market for it, but they stuck with it, right? And then with the influx of China brand, you know, China restaurants coming to Singapore, it's just taken off.
It's taken off.
And it's now 50% of their revenue.
Wow.
Right? More than the rice wine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the grape wines, they kind of caught, I mean, they did the initial, you know, kind of, you know, table wine kind of thing. Now they're going with the more premium brands, right? And you know that the industry is getting better, the wines are getting better. So they were already in it, right? So now it's just a matter of curating, finding new labels to carry. So they have changed in response to what's happening in China, in response to the
younger
demands
market.
of the younger market, right? So, okay, maybe if you are in your 20s and 30s, you don't really cook.
Yep.
Yeah, Plum Blossom Hoa Tiao Jiu to you is, you know, okay, whatever.
Grandma's
right?
thing.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
grandma's thing. But hey, you know, China wine, great
Yeah.
wine, right? Why not? A really good bottle of Chairman's Reserve from Gray's Vineyard, you know, excellent.
Wow.
Excellent wines from that vineyard.
Okay,
yeah.
this I have to ask: are they online?
Yes, they are.
At least they are.
Yes, you can order everything online.
Ah, okay, okay.
And then also Redmart, Amazon,
I
Lazada.
see. Oh, wow.
And this, okay, so their logistics are excellent. I mean, there are times when I would order wine in the evening, and then by next morning, it's at my doorstep at 10 a.m. I mean,
Wow, that's crazy. That's
for
really good.
Yeah, for heaven's
Faster
sakes,
than
right?
Amazon.
And
Yeah.
this is I ordered them through Lazada, right?
Right.
Now I'll go direct to their website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. To celebrate this milestone, 100 years, right? They've actually tied up with a couple of restaurants,
Yes.
right? Can you tell us more?
Right, so there's Ziyan, they're in Lengkok Bahru, so they've got an a la carte menu of dishes which feature the plum blossom hua tiao jiu in various forms.
Okay.
Pork ribs, in soup, even with dessert. So it's like a sort of rice ball dessert with a ginger soup.
Right.
And then you have the option of pouring a shot of hua tiao.
Oh.
That should be so good. The Tang Yuan, right?
Yes,
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Right? And then they've got at Yen's Dining in
Mandarin Gallery.
They've got a wine pairing dinner with some of the great wines that they carry. And then there is also a tie-up with an ice cream brand called High Bar Society. It's like in Tanjong Pagar. There's they serve alcoholic ice cream and gelato with cocktails.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's one hazelnut ice cream with made with Nu Hong.
Yes.
Nu Hong is what? It's
It's a kind of rice wine, so in China you would buy a bottle of this when you have a when someone gives birth to a girl,
see.
and you will bury it in the ground, and then when she gets married, you dig it up and you drink it.
Oh, wow. That is
I love
brilliant.
that story.
Okay, yeah.
That's why it's called Nu Hong.
Yes.
It translates to girl red.
Yeah, red girl.
Or daughter red.
Daughter red, yeah.
Yes,
daughter
okay,
red.
okay.
Okay, so there are two flavors, right? So you pick the better one, because I got to try both flavors.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The hazelnut is amazing.
Okay, gotta go try. This is at High Bar Society, by
Yes,
the way.
yes.
Right? In Tanjong Pagar.
I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Alcoholic gelato.
Yes.
Best of both worlds. Ice cream and
Unreal.
alcohol.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking to Hsueh here on Facebook, but we're going back live on air on 1FM 91.3, so stay with us. Layla Caleb here on 1FM 91.3. It's the morning drive, Flying Dutchman, Carrie, and Hsueh, who is from the Straits Times senior food correspondent. Thanks for joining us today, Hsueh.
Thank you.
Yeah. On Instagram and on Facebook, she's also known as Miss Poshnosh.
Yes.
I'm a big
Thank
fan,
you.
by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I've got to say, these stories I'm hearing are just amazing. You bury bottles in... Can we tell that story of burying bottles in the ground again?
Yeah,
That's
just in case people who haven't
Oh, okay.
heard
Yeah,
it.
So
yeah.
Nu Hong is a kind of wine which you buy when you have a daughter. And then you bury it in the... This is back in China.
Back in China,
I don't
yeah.
know what you would do in Singapore, right? You bury it in the ground, and when she gets married, you dig it up and you drink it.
Wow, it's a celebration.
Yes, right.
It's
yes.
unreal.
Right?
Yeah,
and the
classic,
bottle...
very iconic.
The bottle looks like a gunny sack. I mean, it's adorable. Okay?
It is.
So yeah, celebrate the daughters in your life.
Yeah, so this is all because we're talking about an article that was published yesterday celebrating Ang Leong Huat's 100-year anniversary, and they are a local business
Yes.
that's been in the family for like 4 generations,
Yep.
right? And they're a
Yep.
wine distributor focusing mainly on Chinese wines.
That's right, for drinking and for
drinking.
cooking.
So with the current trend, right, everybody is talking sustainability, everybody is talking health conscious eating. How do brands like Ang Leong Huat adapt to these kind of trends then?
Well,
Or do they just say,
But
I'm
wine
sorry,
is good for
we
you."
are who we are?
yeah, well, okay. I don't know how you. I mean, glass bottles, I guess. You
Yeah,
know, recyclable.
yeah.
You know, and alcohol in. You know, I mean,
It's hard, right?
in moderate amounts.
in
is
moderate
good for your
amounts,
health.
and you need it for the cooking, and you need it for the soothing. Heaven knows.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need it because of life.
Yes. Yes. And we're speaking here on a Monday, right?
Yes,
yeah. No, you think it's too soon?
it's never too soon.
Oh, it is too soon. It is too soon now.
Okay, so it's amazing because this is a heritage brand. And, like you said, how many brands in Singapore can actually say they are 100 years old? And I think we're losing a big part of these brands, right? Because a lot of them are just moving with the times and changing everything.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of Ang Leong Huat. But do you think that's the way heritage food brands are going?
Right. I think they've got a really good strategy, which is that your core products, you keep the labels, you keep the vibe of that, but you also explore new things within that category, right? Chinese wine, right? So it is, you would think, oh, well, there's just this and that and the other, but they've managed to find baijiu, they managed to find grape wines, and they've kind of expanded and modernized those wings of the business.
Yeah, certain
right?
aspects, right?
So there's a little bit of the retro and there's a very modern part of the business as well. So they've managed to balance both.
Yeah.
And to do all of it well.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Well,
Great
thank you
stuff.
so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Hsueh Yun from the Straits Times senior food correspondent talking about Ang Leong Huat. If you want to check out the article, it was published on the Straits Times yesterday.
Yep. So make sure you catch it, read it, and then, hey, you got weekend coming around the corner. You know what you're doing.
Cheers!
The Flying Dutchman and Carrie Chong on the morning